Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Dimitra and I'm the events manager at Mauve Group, and this week we'll be doing yet another interview with one of our team members at Mauve. His name is Chuck Morin and he's our business development manager and country representative in the USA. He's very new to our team. He only started in March and I met him in London when he flew over, and he was an absolute pleasure to speak with, very easy to get along with, and if you can't tell, I'm very excited to introduce you guys to him today. So let's go ahead and meet him. Hi Chuck, how are you? It's nice to talk to you again.
Hi Dimitra, how are you? Glad to be here.
Thank you. It's been a long time since I spoke to you. I think the last time was in London, wasn't it, when we met for the first time?
Yeah, that was in early March, right before all of the lockdowns occurred. So I started at a real interesting time in the history of the world.
Yeah, you did. I know a lot has happened since then. It feels like it's been more than just a few months. Are you ready for the interview, for the questions that I've got for you today?
You got it. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, so to start off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your role at Mauve, what you do, what your title is?
Yeah, so my name is Chuck Morin. I am business development manager here in the United States for Mauve Group. I am based in the Chicago area. I'm located about 40 miles south and west of downtown Chicago. I am originally from Chicago, originally from Illinois. And I am one of the first people, or the first person that Mauve Group hired to work potential clients here in the United States, and I'm very proud to be asked to do that role.
Absolutely, and we're very happy to have you on our team. I know one of the first things I noticed about you when we met was how easy it was to talk to you, which is, I think, quite typical for any Americans. From what I've seen, they're very friendly in general, but especially you were very, very easy to talk to. So tell me, if there was one reason and one reason only why Chicago, Illinois is a great place for companies to expand into, what would that be? And it can be any reason, professional, non-professional, whatever you want.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So there's two sides to that coin. First and foremost, our people here and the talent pool in the greater Chicagoland area is really very good. It's pretty world class. And since we're a transportation hub too, there are a lot of corporate entities that are based here in Chicago that run, where their corporate headquarters are in Chicago. And that's primarily because of the people. Illinois is not necessarily the best tax state for all companies, but it is certainly from a talent pool standpoint. And that's what attracts many corporate offices.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into some quick fire questions, and these are more personal to you so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
So first of all, what's one thing that most people don't know about you?
I'm real interested in anything aerospace and anything involving airplanes. I don't generally talk about that with people at work because it's kind of geeky, but it's something that if I'm watching something on YouTube or reading something, or I'm going to a museum, it's usually involving airplanes. And it's just something I kind of picked up from my dad over the years, and just kind of a hobby of mine. I'm not a pilot. I don't want to become a pilot. I just like airplanes, and I like anything that goes into space and things like that. So this whole Falcon 9 thing is really cool the other day.
There's nothing geeky about it. You should definitely talk about it more. Right, next, if you could have dinner with one famous person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
That would be Chuck Yeager, who's a famous test pilot for the U.S. military. He was the first man to break the sound barrier. I believe he's still alive. He's in his 90s now, but it would be an interesting conversation. He's had quite a career starting from World War II up through modern jets.
Great. What is one of your greatest achievements?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's my children. I have two wonderful boys, 13 and 8 years old, and by far they're my greatest achievement in my life.
Absolutely. I did think that you were probably going to give me that answer for that question. Right. Next question. Reality TV, love it or hate it?
I'm kind of agnostic about it, because reality TV is essentially scripted to make it look like it's reality.
Right.
So, I understand its purpose, and I like people that like it. Myself, if you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, that's great. I don't care either way.
Do you have any shows that you'd like to watch, that you do watch on a regular basis, any reality TV shows?
Geez, no. It's been a lot of years since I've watched reality. I kind of got over it many years ago. I watched the first couple seasons of Survivor and a few other things like that, but not recently.
Okay, all right. What's your best idea for an invention?
I read that question earlier. We're doing this live to tape right now, but I did have a chance to look at the questions. I thought about that a little bit. Back before the internet, you used to think, sit around and think about inventions all day. You're like, oh, what if we have this? Nowadays, you think of something, you can go right to the internet and search to see if it exists. Right. So it's kind of like, so somebody's already thought of that.
Right. So
it's been a lot of years since I thought about inventions, because you can usually just go on Google and search it and find somebody who's already invented it or is selling it.
Yeah, most things seem to have already be out there, don't they? What's the most valuable thing you've ever learned in school?
Oh, that's the easy one. Just to stick with it. Perseverance. People have, degrees and diplomas in all sorts of different disciplines, but the greatest achievement about going through school is just sticking with it and getting the degree, because there's so many people that don't do that. There are certain things that you learn that make you a specialist in whatever you do, but at the end of the day, having that degree and committing to it is really what shows, what really speaks the most about you.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And I only just came out of university a few years ago, and what really shocked me initially was how many people went to work in industries that completely irrelevant to their degrees, and it was really confusing at first, because I thought, that makes no sense. But eventually, I came to understand what you just explained, which is it's not, in many cases, it's not about what your degree, what industry it's in, what topic it's on. It's just about getting through and showing that you have that discipline, you have that work ethic. Yep. So I 100% agree with you on that one. Right, what's your favorite way to relax?
To be on a beach somewhere, with my rear end in the sand and a cold drink in a koozie next to me, and hearing the waves crash.
I love that. That sounds like me as well. What was your favorite and least favorite subject in school?
So I'm going to go with college, just because I had the best and worst classes in college. So let's go with the best first. Not one particular class, but I liked all of my information technology classes in college. I'm a business major with an information technology emphasis, so I really enjoyed those classes at the time. And this was in the early or the mid 90s, so the internet was still pretty fresh to everyone, and there was a lot of cool things happening at the time in the world of information technology. The least favorite subject was I took a business statistics class that the prerequisite for was 2 calculus classes. So it was calculus-based statistics. I have a master's degree, and it's the hardest class that I ever took in my academic career. That was like my second year in college, and I spent more time studying for that class than I did any other class through my master's degree.
Right, but you got through it.
But I got through it. Yep. But it was not a fun one.
It was tough, right? What is a slogan that describes you or your values?
Oh, you know what? I had a good one earlier that I was going to pull up. Let me see here.
Yes.
It's on my Facebook site here. And it's a quote that I found the other day, and I thought it was kind of a good one because it means a lot to a lot of people. And it is, it was right up in front of me a second ago. And of course, when I read it,
I love that you've prepared for it, that you've thought about it.
It's, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And that's a Martin Luther King Jr. quote. Right. And I think that means a lot these days in the current situation that we're in, and it has a lot of significance.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, and finally, what is the best advice that you've ever been given, and who was it from? Prior to joining MAUV in March, I worked at almost 20 years in the higher education industry, and we had one of our deans say to us at a group meeting,
If all you do is do the right thing every time by every student, then you're not going to have any problems, here or in business in general. And what I took that to mean, moving with my career, is if you do the right thing every time by every client and by every customer, you know what, then you shall be absolved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really take that to heart. It's it's that whole mission of Mauve that we have of integrity, honesty, and commitment, kind of summarized into a quick soundbite.
Absolutely, I love that. And again, it's interesting that all of you that I've interviewed so far, Teresa, Lucia, Ashley, you've all sort of touched on that value that is really, really important for us at Mauve.
Yeah.
Chuck, it was lovely to speak to you. I wish we could speak more, and I'm sure that we will over the next few weeks. Thank you for coming on. I know you're very busy, and I know it's very early in America at the moment.
Oh no, it's not too bad. It's only about 20 to 10. I should have been. I've been awake for a while now.
Okay. All right. Well, it was lovely to speak to you. I hope to speak to you again soon.
Yeah, Dimitra, thank you. It was great being here.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
A big thank you to Chuck for joining me today. I wish I could have interviewed him for longer, but I know that he's very busy. I'm sure you can tell he's a huge character, and he's very, very funny and silly as well. I got to see that when I met him in person, so I hope that we can have him back on very soon, and he can show that side of him as well. I've loved interviewing my colleagues over the past few weeks. Teresa, Lucia, Ashley, and Chuck, thank you all very much. And I hope to introduce more of our team over the next few months. But next week, I'm gonna be starting a new series where I'll be walking you through the 10 easy steps on how to take your business global. So thank you for watching. I hope you're all staying safe, and see you next week.